Hello guys, welcome to another episode of What's Next. Today we are doing Wolfenstein 2. Now, this technically I would consider a What's Next, or like kind of a blend between What's Next and Up and Coming, because there is a possible sequel coming out, but I'm just not sure yet if I qualify it as a sequel instead. So to get the basics down, first we gotta just announce spoiler alert, so there's that. But to get the basics down, Wolfenstein The New Order was an action-adventure first-person shooter that was developed by MachineGames and published by Bethesda Softworks. And Bethesda should be well known to everybody, considering Bethesda is the publisher of Skyrim, Dishonored, and Fallout alike. Now, it was released on May 20th, 2014 for the Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. And it was supposed to be the sequel to 2009's Wolfenstein, and it is the 7th main entry in the series. Now, if you don't know what Wolfenstein is about, basically it's about the Nazis winning World War II. And it follows the story of William B.J., and I'm using quotes because that's his nickname, Blazkowicz, and it's his effort to try to prevent the Nazis from pretty much stopping them from controlling everything. And it's about the Nazis winning World War II, obviously, so that means they pretty much go on, and they go on to actually control all of Earth, pretty much, and control the entire planet. Now, you play this story through as a Resistance, and there's 2 playthroughs in this game, so I recommend it highly. And then there was also some DLC called The New Order that was also, or not The New Order, The Old Blood that was released, and that was very good. And honestly, it was nominated for both Game of the Year and Best Shooter award. And so honestly, that's quite a game. And so, I'm sorry, my throat's a little dry. This game is honestly pretty good, and you go through and you fight with the Resistance to try to win the war and such and everything like that. But basically at the end, and I already warned spoilers, basically at the end you see Blazkowicz and Deschan fighting it off one-on-one finally. The moment you've been waiting for, and working towards it, grinding everything to, and you finally get to it. And at the very end, Blazkowicz is very, very wounded, and you see him just pretty much bleeding out, and he orders his friends in the Resistance to escape and to to launch the nuke onto the area, and they do, and pretty much that's it. But however, at the very end of the credits, you also hear a helicopter approaching. So you don't know really what that means. You don't know if Blazkowicz is alive or dead. 'Cause at the very end of the game, he is also very hurt and wounded and pretty much bleeding out. And then it just has a nuke go off pretty much on him. So we really don't know if he's alive or dead. But however, it is a game. You don't know what really needs to go. And we've known Blazkowicz to survive pretty much the impossible, so we really don't know whether or not he's actually alive. And just so you know, this is a very intense game that I actually fell in love with. That this is a very quality game and has some very deep characters you could easily fall in love with and grab a hold of and just attach yourself onto. And pretty much that's the basis of it. Now, the game itself pretty much, I would say, got mixed reviews, between 7 and 8, a couple 6s, a couple 9s, but that's pretty much it. So I would say it's pretty much equal throughout everything else, and there is a good chance there is a sequel. And my information is coming from GameRant.com. So that's where my information is coming, and they are quoting MachineGames. Hang on, sorry, I gotta make sure this is the right quote. Jens Matthias, who is creative director of, he's with an interview with Giant Bomb creative director Jens Mathias explained that keeping the previous games in the series as canon, not simply casting them aside and starting fresh, was the team's goal. Now that was what Game Rant said. So that's a pretty solid chance that they're going to move on. And now this is a quote from Mathias himself. "We love incorporating the legacy of the franchise that for people who really passionate." Wow. I'm going to restart that because my words just got completely twisted. "We love incorporating the legacy of the franchise that for people who are really passionate about Wolfenstein will see things that they recognize from earlier entries. Like I said before, it's extremely important to us that it feels like Wolfenstein. It's not that we've slapped a brand on a completely different shooter. It needs to be in that same universe. Also, of course, it's creatively interesting to take the game into a really drastically adventurous direction, but still maintaining the continuity with the earlier games. So it's both a reimagining and a sequel at the same time. As a creative, that's just a very interesting problem to solve." And not to mention, he went further on to say, "We want this to be part of a greater saga. That said, of course, this game stands completely on its own. It's not a requirement that you play anything of the previous games. You can be completely new to the Wolfenstein and have a complete experience, but we also want to build upon things that have already established on their own." So obviously, it's pretty much based. There's a lot of information from the previous games, but they're still including the. You don't have to be, necessarily old for the. You don't necessarily have to be playing the previous Wolfenstein games, considering they're pretty old style games. So, all right, now. This is continuing off of what Mathias said. He's continuing on. "We would love to do a sequel. We have a very, very clear idea of what accomplished with this game and what we want to accomplish with the sequel. It's not like it's one lesson. You learn things constantly, and there's no switch that you don't want to keep trying to dial it a little higher. I wouldn't say that there was. I wish there was one big lesson. It's more like 500 small ones." Now, pretty much that's saying, hey, we want to do a sequel. And that's pretty much fantastic. And to be honest, I don't know if that is actually a thing. We really don't know yet. And I really do want one because this game is a lot of fun. And I pretty much got this game on sale and just I loved it, and it was fantastic. The game is beautiful. It has it's really easy to control and really easy to get the hang of. Not to mention, pretty much all the characters are fantastically just amazing, and you could just grab hold of anyone and be able to play the game, and that's what makes it great. And to be honest, I would definitely get another one. And so that's pretty much what I have. But the thing is, he also didn't say much about a sequel. There's no story he listed behind it, and he was just stating that he loved to see a sequel. So not necessarily there is going to be a sequel. That's why I consider it a blend between up and coming and what's next, because we really don't know if there is a sequel, because well, there's a bunch of chances that it could be and then could not be. Now, to be honest, Wolfenstein's one of those games that goes way far back, and let's be real here, the Wolfenstein series goes just incredibly far into insane depths. I'm pretty sure the first Wolfenstein came out in 1981. A lot of us probably weren't even born by then. Hell, I wasn't even born by then. I had another 16 years until I was born, and the first Wolfenstein was already out. And that's a lot. I was born in 97, and it's insane to see these kinds of games that are just that have such a history behind it. But that's what I love about it, because you never know what they could do, and they continue to work and remake these games that are just amazing and fun, and it's awesome. But the possible sequels are in my opinion, you could take Blazkowicz and even maybe they have the technology probably to even do it to make Blazkowicz kind of do what they did in Mass Effect. And in Mass Effect, they made Blazkowicz, or Mass Effect, they made Shepard pretty much half machine, half man, and brought him back to life. They could do that in this probably, but you never even know. They could even leave him out and continue the story of Anya, who plays the role of Blazkowicz's lover and also partner in the Resistance. So you never know what they could do. Hell, it depending on what you chose, there could be even another storyline for the character you chose to help survive. And so there is so much you could possibly do with the series, especially with a series with such history, that it would be fantastic to see really anything. And now that you know that they're interested in a sequel, that's just phenomenal to hear, because that means one of your favorite games, or possibly one of your favorite games, or even just a game you like to play, is getting a sequel, because that means the developers want it. And if the developers want it, that means there's a good chance it's going to be made. And that's what I like to hear, because if a developer is working to do something, then they're probably going to do it, because if a game is successful, it's going to keep it. They're going to try to keep it, because one thing I remember earlier on, that it was probably roughly like 3 years ago. It was after Skyrim came out. People were saying they're never going to do another Skyrim, or they're never going to do another Elder Scrolls. There's no way they're ever going to trump it, or they're never going to beat or pass Skyrim. But the problem is, they're not going to just drop their best-selling series for nothing. And that's great. That's what I like to hear. Especially with a game that has so much history, more history than Elder Scrolls. That'd be fantastic to hear. And the Elder Scrolls is a good chance there's going to be an Elder Scrolls 6. Even with the release of the Elder Scrolls Online, there's a good chance that Elder Scrolls 6 is going to come out. Hell, there's a great chance that Bethesda is going to approve the next another Wolfenstein, a Wolfenstein 2. So that is fantastic. And I'm getting all worked up because this sounds awesome, and I love this game so much. So, what do you guys think? Do you think there's a good possibility of there being a Wolfenstein 2? Please leave your comments below. Hell, do you have any other ideas that you think I should do for what's next or an up and coming? Again, leave your comments below. And as always, please like and subscribe. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It helps a lot when you hit that like button. Makes me know and lets me know you guys care. And hit that subscribe button too, because that lets me know that you guys really do care as well. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys around.